Hello and welcome. I'm Geeta Mohan and you're watching India Today Global. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's dear friend and one of India's closest allies, President Putin hailed Moscow-New Delhi ties while praising Prime Minister Modi. He said that India does not have any reason to bow down in front of US tariff pressure. Here is a report.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has once again hailed Moscow-New Delhi's growing partnership. Speaking at the Valdai Security Forum in Sochi, Putin praised Prime Minister Narendra Modi and criticized Washington's tariffs on India over its crude oil imports from Russia. He stressed that New Delhi has no reason to bow to US pressure, adding that his friend PM Modi would never do so.
The people of a country like India, believe me, will closely monitor the decisions made by the political leadership and will never allow any humiliation in front of anyone. And then, I know Prime Minister Modi. He himself would never take any steps of this kind.
Putin warned that higher US tariffs on Russia's trade partners would drive up global energy prices that would also impact the American economy. He noted that if India halted Russian oil purchases, it could lose $9 to $10 billion annually, with sanctions carrying the same costs but with added domestic political pressure.
If India refuses our energy supplies, it will suffer certain losses. And estimates vary. Some say it will be up to $9 to $10 billion if it refuses. And if it doesn't refuse, sanctions will be imposed in the form of these high tariffs. And that will also cause losses. What will they be? The same. So why refuse if it also means incurring enormous domestic political costs?
To offset the tariff impact, Putin hinted at expanding Indian exports to Russia, including agricultural goods and medicines.
I already said that I've asked the Russian government and
More agricultural products may be purchased from India. Certain steps can be undertaken from our side for medicinal products, pharmaceuticals. We need to solve a whole range of tasks to unlock our opportunities and potential advantages.
prospective areas of cooperation.
While praising friend Modi, the Russian leader also accused Washington over its hypocrisy, quoting that US pressuring India over Russian oil, even as the US itself remains reliant on Moscow for key resources.
The United States is one of the largest, if not the largest, states using nuclear power plants. Since nuclear energy is well developed in the US, it requires a large amount of fuel. We are not the largest supplier, but Russia is the second largest supplier of uranium to the American market.
Putin's remarks come just weeks after US President Donald Trump, in his UN General Assembly speech, called India and China the primary funders of the Ukrainian war through Russian oil imports. Trump slapped a 50% tariff on India, half of it as punishment for buying Russian oil, while sparing China from any such penalties. Vladimir Putin has also confirmed his much-anticipated visit to India in December. With Neha Kumari, Bureau Report, India Today.
At the very same Valdai Security Forum, taking a sharp jibe at President Trump's paper tiger comment, Russian President Vladimir Putin suggested that NATO might be one. The remarks come days after Trump gave a statement where he said that Ukraine was capable enough to take back their land from Russia.
But if we are fighting with the entire NATO bloc, advance at this rate and feel so confident, but given all these are paper tigers, then what is NATO in this case?
While addressing a foreign policy forum in southern Russia, Russian President Vladimir Putin hit back at US President Donald Trump for calling Russia a paper tiger, suggesting that NATO might be one.
You're 4 years fighting a war that should have taken a week. Are you a paper tiger?
While Putin took a swipe at NATO, history shows Russia once sought membership. Russia tried to join NATO in 1954, and President Putin himself was interested in joining the NATO alliance in 2000, which was later dismissed by then US President Bill Clinton.
US President Clinton, Moscow in the year 2000, when we spoke about that with him, and both times we were turned down, straight away. I repeat, we were ready for joint work and non-linear steps in the global security and stability sphere, but our Western counterparts were not ready to rid themselves of the captivity of geopolitical and historical stereotypes and this simplistic world view.
Meanwhile, Putin also warned of a strong response to Europe's growing militarization as tensions spike after the EU accused Russia of repeatedly violating NATO airspace.
We are closely monitoring the escalating militarization of Europe. I think no one doubts that Russia's response will not be long in coming. The response of these threats will be, to put it mildly, very convincing.
In the past 3 months, several European countries such as Lithuania, Latvia, Denmark, Norway, Romania, Poland, Estonia, Germany and France have reportedly mysterious drone incursions, which they allege were Russian. However, when President Putin was asked about sending drones into European countries, he jokingly dismissed the claim.
Vladimir Vladimirovich, why do you send so many drones to Denmark? They feel uncomfortable. Please do not. I will not. I will not send any more drones neither to France nor to Denmark. Copenhagen. Where else do they fly to?
Putin's remarks comes just days after Trump claimed that Kiev, with support from the European Union, was strong enough to reclaim its territory from Russia. With Neha Kumari, Bureau Report, India Today.
The U.S. government entered its third day of shutdown with no resolution in sight as the Senate prepares for another vote on short-term funding. Amid the standoff, President Donald Trump has turned the crisis into an opportunity to target rivals. He said he will meet Budget Director Russ Vought to discuss temporary or permanent spending cuts specifically aimed at what he called Democrat agencies. Trump has already frozen federal transit and green energy funding in Democratic-leaning states and has warned of more federal job cuts. The shutdown, triggered by a partisan clash in Congress, now risks becoming a tool for reshaping the federal workforce and punishing political opponents. FBI Director Kash Patel fired an agent in training for displaying a gay pride flag on his desk during a previous assignment at a California field office. The firing comes less than a week since Patel fired over a dozen other FBI employees who took a knee while conducting crowd control in Washington, D.C. amid Black Lives Matter protests in 2020. This also comes at a time when U.S. President Donald Trump has repeatedly vowed to remove what he calls woke ideology from the federal government. The trainee, who had served as an FBI support specialist in Los Angeles, received a letter signed by Patel. The letter accused him of displaying an improper political message at the workplace while under President Joe Biden's administration. U.S. President Donald Trump's repeated mix-up between Armenia and Albania, along with other geographical gaffes, became a subject of ridicule among leaders at the European Political Community meeting in Copenhagen this week. At the summit, the Albanian Prime Minister Edi Rama could be overheard teasing French President Emmanuel Macron and Azerbaijan's President Ilham Aliyev. In response, Macron offered a sarcastic apology, saying, "I'm sorry for that." Rama took a dig at Trump, who on repeated occasions has mixed up Armenia with Albania, while speaking about the peace deal he brokered with Azerbaijan.
President Trump, you should make an apology. To us, because you didn't congratulate us for the peace deal that President Trump made between Albania and Azerbaijan.
I'm sorry for that.
Yeah. So, and you worked very hard. He worked very hard. We had 500. You should make an apology to us, because you didn't congratulate us for the peace deal that President Trump made between Albania and Azerbaijan.
Now, in a big setback for Pakistan, Afghanistan's Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi has chosen India, not Islamabad, for his first official visit since the Taliban takeover of Kabul. Muttaqi is set to arrive in Delhi on the 10th of October. Just last month, there was talk of his visit to Pakistan, but instead, Muttaqi is heading to India, marking the first visit by an Afghan foreign minister since the Taliban came to power. Despite not formally recognizing the regime, India has consistently supported Afghanistan in every crisis. After the recent Kunar earthquake, External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar sent aid and spoke directly with Muttaqi on the 1st of September. The two had earlier met in Dubai this January. So with Muttaqi's visit, Kabul is sending a strong signal. Pakistan sidelined, India emerging as the key partner. At least 9 people, including 4 police officers, were injured in an explosion near Peshawar's Banimara area. The injured personnel, ASI Shah Faisal, Constable Sajjad, Noor Ullah and driver Zia, were rushed to a nearby hospital with one officer reported in serious condition. Peshawar Capital City Police Officer Dr. Mia Saeed said the blast targeted a police patrol and is believed to have been caused by a device planted along their route. 5 of the injured were civilians. Security forces quickly cordoned off the area while investigations continue to confirm whether the explosion was caused by an improvised explosive device. Staying with Pakistan, now it has become a no investment zone. The latest consumer goods major, Procter & Gamble, has announced exit from Pakistan. The latest among a long list of multinationals who have left Pakistan. While Pakistan keeps selling its land, there are no takers for its business. We break down on Statecraft what this means for Pakistan and why it's happening in Pakistan. Pakistan is up for sale. The signs are everywhere. Procter & Gamble shutting its doors, Microsoft packing up, Shell selling out, and Uber, Careem and Telenor rolling away from the wreckage. Multinationals aren't just exiting Pakistan, they're running, and they're doing it in droves. At the very same time, Pakistan is hawking its land like a desperate landlord, handing over Gwadar port to China under the CPEC bargain and dangling Balochistan's mineral wealth in front of Donald Trump like bait. Pakistan can sell its land, it can lease its ports, it can pawn its natural resources, but it cannot sell itself as a credible market for investment. So the question is, if Pakistan is for sale but nobody's buying its economy, only its soil, what does that say about the future of this troubled nation? And what does it mean when Trump emerges as the biggest land grabber of all? Hello and welcome. You're watching Statecraft with me, Geeta Mohan. The context could not be clearer. Multinationals are fleeing Pakistan at a rate that even seasoned analysts call unprecedented. P&G's exit after more than 3 decades is not an isolated story. It is the headline in a saga of disinvestment and disillusion. Microsoft shut down after 25 years. Shell sold its controlling stake. Telenor walked away. Uber and Careem said goodbye. Pharmaceutical giants Pfizer, Bayer, Eli Lilly, Sanofi, Viatris all withdrew, strangled by policy confusion and foreign exchange chaos. Yamaha stopped production. Total Energies pulled out. Each departure chips away at jobs, technology transfer, and confidence. Each retreat sends a signal: Pakistan is not worth the trouble. And yet, in the middle of all this collapse, Pakistan waives contracts in front of Beijing and Washington, selling Balochistan's minerals and leasing out its coastline. When global giants from tech to transport, energy to healthcare line up for the exit door, the message is deafening. Pakistan is not a market, it is a minefield. Why are they leaving? The reasons are as chronic as they are obvious. Political instability, where every government change rewrites the rule book. Currency controls that trap profits, leaving multinationals stuck with rupees that depreciate by the hour. Tax regimes so complex, 30 different corporate taxes, each a maze of bureaucracy that investors give up before they start. Energy crises, power shortages, costly fuel and infrastructure decay, security risks, terrorism, bureaucratic red tape. And the nail in the coffin? Shrinking consumer demand, inflation, unemployment, poverty, 42% below the poverty line have turned Pakistan into a market that simply cannot consume. What company wants to stay in a country where its consumers can no longer afford soap or motorcycles? And yet, as multinationals flee, Pakistan sells. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor was supposed to be a golden ticket. Instead, it turned into a mortgage. Enter Trump. In 2025, Pakistan courted Donald Trump with samples of rare earth minerals from Balochistan, copper, antimony, tungsten, rare earths, strategic treasures in a world desperate for supply chains free of China. A $500 million memorandum signed between Pakistan's military-controlled Frontier Works Organization and Missouri-based U.S. Strategic Metals. A deal to refine minerals, to grant access, to open the gates of Balochistan to American business. Trump did not walk into Balochistan with an army. He walked in with a pen, and Pakistan handed him the keys. In the battle for Pakistan's soil, Trump has now outplayed China, transforming himself into the biggest land grabber of them all. What does this say? That Pakistan's government cannot sell the country as a market, a producer, a manufacturer, but it can sell it as land. But for Pakistan itself, it is humiliation as well. Trump has not just become a buyer, he has become the landlord, the new custodian of Pakistan's last bargaining chip, its soil. With that, it's a close of this edition of India Today Global. You can watch all the stories on India Today Global's YouTube channel. But before I go, I leave you with this. When Taylor Swift drops an album, the world doesn't just listen, it stops. And this time, her latest release not only shattered records, it literally broke the internet. Kshitija Gosavi takes us inside the frenzy, the fallout, and the feared. Goodbye and take care.
Midnight turned into meltdown. Within minutes of Taylor Swift's The Life of a Showgirl going live. Spotify crashed. Millions logged out, desperate for a first listen. Screens froze, errors popped up, and Swifties flooded social media saying Taylor broke Spotify once again. I heard you calling. But this time, the buzz wasn't just about broken records. It was about the music itself. Fans say Swift is experimenting with bold, glitzy pop sound. But some hear echoes of Sabrina Carpenter. He loves me not. And he's unlucky I took him back and then stepped on a crack. Tracks like Showgirl, Heart and Glitter Nights have some fans whispering she's channeling Sabrina, calling the project less authentic, more imitation. I bought a ticket. She's dancing in her garters and fishnets. 50 in the cast, 0 missteps. Looking back, I guess it was kismet. Social media split in two. Praise for reinvention on one side and disappointment on the other, with critics branding it her weakest effort yet. Forgive me, it sounds cocky. Adding fuel to the fire, the track Wood has fans debating its inspiration. Many say it's a nod to her fiancé Travis Kelce, referring his podcast and playful metaphors like the redwood tree. But netizens are asking, is this really Taylor?
Did Taylor Swift just shade Charli XCX in her new album?
I heard you call me boring Barbie when the coach. Meanwhile, actually romantic stirring chatter as a possible subtle diss to Charli XCX, with lyrics fans believe answer her 2024 track, Sympathy is a Knife.
of the song are Heard You Call Me Boring Barbie when the Cokes Got You Brave, High Fives My Ex, and then you said you're glad he ghosted me.
And beyond the music, controversy deepens. Did Spotify underestimate demand, or does the platform simply bend for mega artists while indie musicians fight for scraps?
Okay, I can't get this show on!
The debate rages on. Well, numbers don't lie. The life of a showgirl is already smashing streaming records, proving once again that Taylor Swift isn't just a pop star. She's a cultural force that brings the world's biggest music platform to its knees. One album, one night, and the internet went dark. Taylor Swift's latest chapter may not win every heart, but it's already written its place in history. With Kshitija Gosavi, Bureau Report, India Today.